So my elder brother is in the States. He's 5 years older than I am. And my younger brother, 2 years younger to me. The two of us are in Bombay. So we often share things that have happened, like this incident at the airport. And there are several such. And Firoz has a plethora of them because he drives sometimes from Mumbai all the way to the Himalayas in his sumo car entirely alone. And he says he's never alone. He's chatting with the mother, he's going together in the car, all sorts of amazing experiences, but those are for him to tell you.
But Firoz is one thing I will tell you later.
So we sort of coined this phrase. We just say htmw. When something beautiful, miraculous happens, and it means how the mother works.
htmw. This is htmw.
Oh, htmw. You keep doing that.
That she reminded.
So, what happened to me with the blessings packet when my dreams disappeared, once when I was with friends in Hawaii and teaching, I had just flown from Kona, the big island of Hawaii, to Honolulu on Oahu. So I got a call from Kona where I'd just been with friends and was teaching, and the person who was in class, she said, You've spoken about the mother, you've spoken about some beautiful things that have happened. And I was quite fired because something terrible is happening to my daughter, very young. And she has these horrible nightmares. She thrashes around at night and she refuses to go to school in the morning. It's been about 7 or 8 days that we can't even get her clothes on. She's sort of naked and screaming and stuff like that. She won't let us put on her clothes and she hasn't gone to school. Do you have any suggestions? So the first thing that struck me was, do you have a blessings packet of the mother? Because when we were kids, mom tells me, this I don't remember, but mom tells me, whenever we would have a toothache at night, and mom couldn't call a dentist at that time of night, she would just take a blessings packet, open it, tear the inner wrapping, and then give us a petal, and pray to the mother and touch our faces. And within minutes, we'd just fall asleep. The toothache would be gone.
And next day, there would be no toothache ever thereafter.
We wouldn't have to go to the dentist or anything after. So I was wondering if she had a blessings packet, and she said no. So she did have a book. And so I asked her if there's a picture of the mother in the book, and she said yes. So I asked her to put the child in bed and then to take the book with the mother's photograph facing the bed, take it around the bed 3 times, and stop at the same place she started and put the book open like that, facing the bed. And she said, sure, she'll do that. And then I carried on because I was with other friends in Oahu. And a day later, I get a call back from the big island. And she says, sorry, I think it's the other way around. She was in Oahu and I was on the big island. Mm-hmm. And she called me on the big island and she said, this is an absolute miracle. Because for 7 to 8 days, she's been in this frenzied thrashing kind of state, and after I did this 3 times, she slept like a baby because she was a baby. And the next morning she woke up as if nothing had happened. She put on her clothes, she went to school, and she's beautiful. That was such a touching and beautiful. I mean, they don't even have any such connection. Yeah. Maybe they do, that something that I don't know of, but complete strangers and just a picture of the mother.
And so far, where in Hawaii?
Yes, yes.
So beautiful.
You were going to say something about Firoz.
Yes. Yes. Firoz, first time when he went to Himalayas in his car, he got all his tires changed new because it is an old car. Tata Sumo, na? Tata Sumo, old. So, of course, his tires, he got them all changed. So, when he had his whole trip, which he described as such bad stones, he had to go through all that, he had to pass over and all that. When his car came, I said, Firoz, were you traveling on these tires or you were traveling on Mother's Grace? They were new.
After that huge journey, very, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles, and they looked absolutely pristine.
Amazing.
So that I was reminded of. Now do you tell about your jaundice?
Malaria.
You remember it
Malaria.
properly?
Malaria. So
Malaria.
yeah, so I prefer not to go the allopathic way,
Mhm.
preferably ever. So I will always try to look for some alternative. But this was something rather fancy. Uh, there's supposed to be two kinds of malaria or more, but the two most favored in Bombay are falciparum and vivax. Vivax is supposed to be the one that's more repetitive. You keep getting it, but it's less dangerous. And falciparum is supposed to be that which goes in and starts eating your organs, including the brain. So it's supposed to be a dangerous thing. That's what I was told. So then we got it tested because it was obvious I had malaria with the high fevers and stuff. And the test showed that I had both together. So it's supposed to be not good news at all. And sometimes the pains were like lightning bolts just shooting through the body. Amazing pain. That kind of pain I don't remember having
God
had.
forbid.
Yeah. And it's totally weird because you don't know when it's going to happen, that pain shooting through the body and again and again and again. And so then finally I was just laughing. It was too painful for, I either had to cry or I laughed. And I think I chose to laugh in that state. And so I was laughing, oh gosh, I can't take this, this is crazy, it's impossible. And then I would just try to twin with the mother, and when I would feel her energy, everything would become a little more quiet, a little more quiet, a little more quiet. And then I just said, no, I want to be with her and I don't want to go to the doctor, which was not wise, technically speaking. And then mom said, but can I call this person, Digish Doshi, who's a homeopath? So I said, sure, but
I said,
then,
don't take the medicine, but let him come.
Then I was again trying to be with her and saying, just tell me, how would I know? How would I know whether I should or should not take it? I want to be just with you and cure it with you. So I heard her say, you'll know he's the right person if he tells you that he hasn't got the medicine that he would normally give and he has to get it from his clinic. So I said, okay, that sounds a little involved, but all right. And then he came and then he started asking me the homeopathic questions, which seemed totally unrelated, but obviously are very meaningful. And then I told him what I was feeling, and then at some point he stopped writing and he said, I feel that you're just, pure consciousness is coming out of you, I can't make any more notes. He said something like that. And then he said, I wanted to give you this particular medicine, but I haven't got it with me. And I said, so I said, okay, thank you very much.
I will have to go and get it.
It was so beautiful. The hair keeps standing when all these things come back.
And you were going to tell us about Feroz.
That I told you, about his tires.
Only one?
Many, that Feroz will tell you.
Feroz will tell me, all right. Have you, either of you, had any experience with Sri Aurobindo?
Ah, yes. Particularly that big photo that is in the ashram, it very often smiles. Very often.
Which photo?
Where the meditation room is, where the
Yes.
office is.
Yes.
Before the office, there are Mother and
That
Sri Aurobindo.
big painting.
Big.
Okay.
Smiles. And once I remember that Savitri Bhavan, they had, whether it was Savitri Bhavan or it must be Savitri Bhavan, where there were pictures put of Huta's painting, and you could take them. So I took just 2, and I said, how much do I pay for them? So they said, no, you are not to pay for them. So I said, fine. Then I wanted to take more. And I looked up at Sri Aurobindo and there was a frown on his face. Oh, I said, I'm wrong. So like that I have seen him once before also, and I always correct myself. Here I'm wrong. And then the smile. I'll tell him when I pray to him on his feet, I said, give me a smile that I can keep all the while when we are away.
Beautiful.
And he gives the smile.
Jehangir, any?
Yeah, we have the pictures of the mother in Sri Aurobindo on a sort of altar. So when you come in to the house, there's a passage and you directly see them.
I see.
Yeah, yeah. And so we meditate there every Saturday. But now it's become something that I just do. And very touchingly, I find my daughter also does. Every night before she goes to sleep, she goes, puts her head there. Sometimes puts her head on the floor also. Not saying anything, because a teenager will never admit to feelings. So, but now she's not a teenager. She just turned 21. It's beautiful how she's growing, and my son also, who's 19. So every night I tend to put my head down there, and sometimes I chat, sometimes I hear, sometimes I have this sort of interaction. But for me, it's been continuously with the mother. Not Sri Aurobindo, but always when I look up, there is a particular difference in Sri Aurobindo's expression. And so when I'm trying to get over a particular emotional weakness in me or something, I see those eyes with a certain kind of boring look. And then sometimes when I make a decision and I'm going to do this, now I'm definitely not going to, or I'm definitely going to, and I release it and I surrender it to her and say, please, carry me the way you would like me to go. And I look up and sometimes I see that flicker of a smile, and it's quite remarkable.
Yeah.
It may be imaginary, it may be whatever, but I'm through with wondering whether it's imagination or not. I just like it to uplift me, enlighten me, and carry me the way I need to go. So as long as that's happening, I'm not going to think too much about am I imagining it or not. The point is that there's a continuous interaction each time I look. Each time I look, there is something and I get something from his picture. But it's generally that particular picture that I'm used to looking at.
You may also have noticed this, but if I stand directly in front of Sri Aurobindo's picture, and then move 90 degrees to the side, he's still looking at me.
Yeah, very much.
And then go back 90 degrees the other way, and he's still looking at me.
Absolutely.
It's
Absolutely.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And that wasn't Cartier-Bresson's work. That was Sri Aurobindo.
Yeah.
This is what?
Yeah.
Well, for
No,
me...
you said something which I did not
Oh,
hear.
Cartier-Bresson, who took the photographs of Sri Aurobindo.
Yeah.
Last photo. But what Sri Aurobindo put into those photographs, something else.
I've got the whole album of his having taken the photographs. Mother had got it made at that time. So somebody else had taken it, and then when he died, his daughter said, "Would you like to have it?" I said, "Certainly," and she sold it to me. So I have all the pictures that he had taken.
And all hand signed by the mother. It's beautiful.
Now,
Can I give you one dream of Sri Aurobindo,
absolutely.
which matters a lot to
Absolutely.
me? There was no samadhi. There was the whole ashram was like that, only straight. There was a garden, and you know where we go out from, where the slippers are put. There also there was a garden, and Sri Aurobindo was sitting on a throne, big throne, but all with flowers all over, and he was sitting there. And his one leg was swollen, foot was swollen. And all the ashramites were sitting in a row, like on benches, and near me was Bhaktiben. And Sri Aurobindo had a little, round thing that yogis have in their hand. What do you call that?
Kamandalu?
Not command, the round thing, like a paper roll that yogis carry. I think it is leather, skin of some animal or something, I don't know.
Not a scroll, but something they sit on.
Maybe a scroll, yes, something he was carrying in his
Okay.
hand. And he got up from the seat and he says, "Will you or will you not do what I am asking you to do?" And I was near Bhaktivinoda. I said, say something. You know, I know nothing about his yoga. You know it. Say something. He's asking a question. Nobody said anything. If you don't say anything, I'll leave, he says. And he leaves. And then I run after him. And there were so many things coming in the way. You know, when the trains come, the train is to come, they put that thing to so that
Barricade.
people
Barricade?
barricade, or what do you call that? Just falls. What is it called? So things were coming in my way. I was climbing over them. I mean, I went, and then he was on the top of our hanging garden.
In Bombay.
Bombay Hanging Garden, which is high up. You must have seen it. It's like a little hill. He was there on top of that. I went there, and what do I see? That swollen foot had underneath a very pointed stone. So the first thing I did was to pick up his leg, take the stone away, and then I tell him, "But why must you love a humanity that doesn't? Why must you love a humanity that does not know how to love? Why must you care for a humanity that does not know how to love?" And he just gives me a smile. That you are such a silly girl. What do you know about me and humanity? It was such a beautiful dream. And he was on top, and all the human beings, the cars, and all were moving underneath.
Beautiful experience.
So like that I used to dream of him, that's all. Some other dreams also, but now I don't remember. Might get them.
And Jehangir?
Sri Aurobindo in particular?
Anyone? Any of the old yogis?
Oh, just now since Mom was talking about this and dreams, another incident flashed to my mind. When Dad had malaria and he was really, really unwell, it was misdiagnosed as typhoid. So he was given medication for typhoid for something like 10 days, drip and all that stuff. He was in bed, and he's a really gung-ho kind of person. Yeah, he's 88 and he possibly does more work than any of us in the house.
You saw him.
Oh, yes, yes.
And so to see him like that isn't a pleasant sight, but once we found it was malaria and he was given the correct medication, amazing. The turnaround was like in 2 days. After being listless and being given all sorts of stuff for typhoid, he turned around very
Vandana
quickly.
always said it is malaria.
It was funny. Vandana from Pondicherry said, "This sounds like malaria to me," and all the doctors were saying typhoid.
Blood
Well,
report said typhoid.
Yeah.
But she
So-
wouldn't believe.
Yeah, she's amazing. So once it had started turning around, apparently you also see all sorts of stuff which isn't really happening when the falciparum goes into the brain. So Dad actually felt uncomfortable to talk about it, and he was in a delirious sort of state. And then when Mom was not in the room, so as not to make her concerned, he would ask me, that, "Is it true that some people came here with milk bags and they wanted to sell milk?" And I said, "No, Dad, don't worry, but this does happen with malaria." He said, "I saw people laying bricks here and they were trying to make a wall near the window." And I said, "No, Dad, don't worry. Again, this is just something that can happen." And he said, "I see these horrible black insects all around the floor. It's disgusting. What is happening around me?" And then he had tears in his eyes. He said, I feel something horrible is happening. The whole energy here is very bad." And so after a few conversations, I felt very strongly for him. And I just kept seeing the mother in my heart. And that day we had to go to Anita Sanjana, whom you know.
Ah, yes.
So we had to go to a concert or something that she was doing with J.B. Pittett's school. So I felt sort of loath to leave Dad like that. But I thought, no, when it's the mother, distance makes no difference at all. So I just, before we left, kept feeling the mother's light and her face, which I love to see in my heart. I felt that energy going around Dad and surrounding him and the room. And even when we got into the car, even when we went to the concert hall or whatever we went to, I kept feeling that this light was spreading, the mother's light from my heart and reaching out to Dad in the room. And there's so many days that he kept seeing these horrible things and black insects and stuff like that. And by the time we came back, all through, off and on, I would just touch my heart and see her smile radiating, going all the way, a few miles away to home. And then when we came back, Dad was asleep, which was a good sign. And the next morning I went and chatted with him and asked, "How was it So he said, since last night, I haven't had a single negative dream. And from that day, he didn't have any more hallucinations or ugly dreams at all from that evening onwards. It was so beautiful.
One last question for both of you, and I don't ask it of everyone, but so many people are searching these days, young people. What can you say something to the young people about the direction of their lives, and what you would, whatever you would suggest from the mother of Sri Aurobindo?
Those who believe in Mother and Sri Aurobindo, or those who...
Both. Those who
Both.
don't and those who do.
If they believe in Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, they should be fully in them. Full faith, that is the most essential thing. Full faith, complete. And thy will be done. That, so whatever bad thing comes, they should take it as coming for their good.
Thank you.
And then it will be for their good only.
For me, it's just what I've seen over these years when Anaita brings kids from school to Pondicherry. So for kids, what I would feel only from this experience is that it just feels like the simplest thing to do is to come here. Because so many children I've found completely transformed after coming here for 7 days. They come back to Mumbai and I happen to chat with them and they're uncomfortable because they don't want to say all the beautiful stuff that's happened to them here. Somebody has something happening at the Matri Mandir, somebody sees the mother in the Samadhi, they go weeping into their room, and that their parents tell me, because I'm a parent in the same school, or at least was a parent in the same school, that these children's parents were parents. And they would tell me, I don't know what happens when they go to Pondicherry, they're just not the same when they come back. Those who were scatter-minded now are working so beautifully, and routinely, at least half of them say, instead of going for a holiday to so-and-so place, you want to go to Singapore, I want to go back to Pondicherry. And so the parents say, maybe we should go and see this place. What is this place about? So I feel when we're talking about kids, maybe we don't have to give them too much advice. Maybe we just need to let them come here and feel what children feel so beautifully, which all of us as children were blessed to feel also.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.